Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. Happy Thursday to you. And really looking forward to our conversation today. Guys, this is a topic I am so passionate about. And we have the expert with us today to talk to us about beta glucans. And guys, this is not a topic that we really hear a whole heck of a lot about, but in my humble opinion, I think it's high time that we change that trajectory. So today I want to welcome Reggie Black from BWH Labs. And that stands for Better Way Health. So BWH Labs. And so today we're going to be talking about beta glucan, which is a unique ingredient that has thousands of published studies for how it can help improve your immune system. So I want to give you a nice warm welcome. Reggie, I'm delighted to have you here with me today.
Leslie, it's an absolute honor. We're going to get to chat about beta glucans today. And chat about immune system and health and how we can help your audience and practitioners, get better results with their patients. This is something I can talk about all day. Most people don't know about beta glucans, and it is our mission to make them famous.
Okay. Yeah, because, as an RD, I don't hear a whole lot about it. So why don't we start? Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little step back. Can you share a little bit about your journey? I always like to hear the backstory in terms of, how you got where you are today. So can you just share a little bit about how you became obviously very passionate about this particular ingredient?
Yeah, I'd love to. My journey is a unique one, and how I came about it. I grew up, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, grew up here and was always a computer nerd into tech. So I'm a tech guy. Went to school for IT here, and then ended up starting my own IT business. And Better Way Health actually became one of my clients for IT. And this was back in 2010. And so I didn't know what beta glucan was. I had never heard of this thing. And so I started in, helping on the tech side, and ended up just having like more and more opportunities with Better Way Health to grow. Fast forward now, 15 years I've been doing this, and now I'm the owner of the business. So that's how I got into it, not knowing. But through that whole journey, I was introduced to beta glucans and this natural supplement world and like how these things work. And so it has changed, and I see it on a daily basis changing like thousands of people's lives. And that's really why I'm so passionate about it, is because when we can get the immune system operating properly, it changes everything, about their health. I think if there's one lever we can pull, it would be a highly functioning or a properly functioning immune system for people's health to really be transformed. And the fact that we get to hear the reinforced stuff of people's journeys every single day is what keeps us going and our whole team here going, and why we're so passionate about it.
I love it. So that's fascinating. So you worked on the tech side, and then you ended up owning the business.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great.
There's a lot of stuff in between there that happened, but that's, not for this.
Another day.
But that's how it started.
Okay. Love that. So, okay. And is that then, so 15 years ago, was this their flagship product?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. So our business was actually started in 1999, Better Way Health, by a guy named Dave Perkins. And he was a Vietnam vet. He was exposed to Agent Orange over there in Vietnam, and came back, ended up with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as a result of that. And so he went through 13 rounds of chemotherapy and essentially was sent home to die by the conventional medical system. It was just like, there's nothing else we can do for you. Get your affairs in order. You've got 3 months to live, which we've all heard this, tragic story before. And Dave just refused to accept that. And he started like researching all of these different things he could do in the natural and holistic and healing world. Completely changed his water, his diet, his lifestyle, everything, and got 10 more really healthy years, reversed everything from there. And in that process, he started Better Way Health. And so I was told by his kids, he ate so many carrots, he turned orange. He just went all in with this thing. And during that journey, one of the things that he found was this product called beta glucan. And so he was able to develop a relationship with the formulator of the product, AJ Lanigan, during that time, and sharing his personal story with AJ, they really connected. And so when I walked in, this was the flagship product of the business. We had about 50 different products at the time. So one of the things I did was we took that down to about 4 and really just went all in on beta glucan and focused on that because of how unique and amazing this product is.
Okay. Wow. So that takes some courage, I gotta say, for you to come in and pare things down, like, really a smart move, but definitely takes some courage to do that, right? I give you credit for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I had some great advisors and mentors, along the way that kind of shared. It was like, hey, out of all the stuff you had, if you had to throw it all away, what one thing would you pick? And then it just really, quickly was like, our team can't become an expert on 50 different things. Our team can't do 50 different things. We don't know how to communicate, well, these types of things. And beta glucan had so much scientific research behind it. And we really had a unique source of the beta glucan, which we can talk about later, but that set it apart that we didn't have with any of the other products. And so it was just a very clear thing. It was like, we need to be the beta glucan people. We need to focus on this thing because we've got something that nobody else on the planet has.
Okay. So I definitely want to dig into the sourcing and how your beta glucan, is different, right? Than some of the others. Can you explain that a little bit?
So I'll say beta glucan, a lot of people think about it as it's a natural fiber or polysaccharide. And so it's this carbohydrate, complex carbohydrate, but you think about it in its simplest form, a natural fiber that you can pull from the cell walls of any type of fungus. So hidden inside these cell walls of things like algae or barley or seaweed or mushrooms or yeast are these little things called beta glucan. And so we can extract those from the cell walls and then purify them down. Basically, we're kind of stripping them down to so that it gets rid of all the stuff that the body can't assimilate as easily. And they become these very biologically active things at that point. So when we talk about beta glucan, you can think of it as, different types of beta glucan are coming from different places. So I like to use the example of a barley beta glucan. So if you were to think about barley, each source has its own different superpowers. So barley beta glucan actually has been given the FDA approved health claim to help lower cholesterol, to help manage, to balance blood sugar. And so that's why we saw 15 years ago, Cheerios was running all these campaigns going, hey, people eat Cheerios, it's healthy, it's got beta glucan in it, which, we all know what Cheerios is.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but that they were kind of playing on that because that was around the time that the FDA had given barley beta glucan. That's kind of its superpower in its source because it's got a different molecular structure. So you can get it from all these different sources. Our beta glucan is made from baker's yeast. And so we get it from the cell walls of baker's yeast, specifically a source, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And so the yeast, really the superpower of it is for the immune system. It's got thousands of studies out there that show that the best source for the immune system, of making the immune system smarter. So this is an immune modulator. It's not going to, overstimulate. So if you've got an underperforming immune system, it's going to help bring it up. If you've got an overactive immune system, it's going to kind of help balance that down. So that term immunomodulator, meaning it's going to modulate, not overstimulate. So beta glucan from baker's yeast is really the best form for immune modulation. And that's proven in the research, literally thousands of times over. And so that's the source that we choose to focus on because immune system is kind of our key thing. And then on top of that, when you take the source, now it comes down to how pure can you get that product. And so purity, what has been studied is actually even more important than the source is how highly purified can you get this beta glucan. And so what makes ours different is we actually have exclusivity on the highest purity beta glucan from baker's yeast on the planet. So anything that is made over an 85% purity level of beta glucan belongs to us. And that's very intentional. That was done by our formulator, AJ Lanigan. He found out 25 years ago that really purity was the biggest lever on biological activity. So like if you think about like purity and potency going together, and the higher this thing is pure, the more potent it is. And so AJ really made a decision that he was like, I'm only really interested in that top, that top cut of beta glucan, the most pure. And so he made a deal with, the manufacturer, and it was like, anything that's produced over this, I want all of that. And so that's really what makes us different. Most supplement companies don't have what we call a minimum specification. And so we say, hey, if anything is made that's below the 85% mark, we don't buy it. If anything is 85% or above, we take that. And just for your knowledge, only about 10% of what's produced meets that number.
Whoa, that is incredible.
So we are kind of taking the cream of the crop, the top 10% of the beta glucan. And so this is really what sets our product apart, is because you're going to get a very consistent response with the beta glucan that's in our bottle. And so when we do talk to practitioners that are using it, sometimes they'll say to us, hey, I love beta glucan and I use it, but some people respond really well to it, some of my patients, and some don't. That's because there's no minimum specification. You may be buying one bottle from the same company, and that product might be an 80%. The next bottle you might buy might be a 68%. And so there's no standard across the board. And just for your, edification here, when you're talking about the difference between a 75 and an 85, it's not 10% more active. It's actually 8 times more active just in that mark. And that's been proven, in the research that we can kind of get into from this, this book over here. But it makes a huge difference, the purity, and that's what we're all about.
Okay. And I do want to just mention for our audience that recently this was added to Fullscript's formulary, which is amazing.
Yes.
So it is now available for you to, and of course you can get it directly. I have the website right up on that screen, so you can see that. You can certainly go that route, absolutely. But now you can also access this particular product through Fullscript, which is pretty exciting. I gotta say, I'm really excited for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. You threw me a softball there, Leslie, because you and I have been trying to get together for like 4 months, and we have been trying to get on Fullscript for almost 2 years. And so really it was like, hey, let's just wait till we get on Fullscript. It's almost there. It's almost there. We have been, as any company that's been around 25 years, have been audited by the FDA multiple times. And I love to tell people, it's like they come in, surprise knock on the door, like, hey, we want to see all your stuff. Fullscript asked for twice as much documentation as the FDA did. They ran us through the ringer, which is like, it's great because now that we're on there, but this process to get on Fullscript's platform, it took us probably 2 years of trying. And then once we actually got in and they were like, okay, we're going to approve this, it took another 6 months or so to validate every single thing that we claimed. And Fullscript's team was very thorough. And so this was a massive win for us. And we've been pushing back us meeting and talking until we got it on Fullscript, the product's there. So I'm so proud of that and so happy because all the docs are there. But if you go on Fullscript now, BWH Labs Beta Glucan,
and I can share
what
this looks like. Oops, is that, I don't know if you guys can, it's a little blurry, sorry. My camera doesn't know what to focus on. But anyway, I have in hand Beta Glucan 500. And so many things to talk about, but I will share that immune function is very high on my list of priorities for my own health. And I have had some challenges around that in my history. I had, and I'm not shy about sharing this part, really significant mold exposure, like really, really bad for a really, really long time. So not good for the immune system. And I also, like I've done lots of blood work and I can see it, right? It's still, even though I've been out of the mold for several years, it really is very challenging to get that immune system back up and running as it should. So can you tell us, and before we hit the live button, we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about some new research that BWH Labs is coming out with. And interestingly, I find this very fascinating. When I was at the Integrated Health Symposium, I did see Reggie and his team, which was great. There was a company, is it True Diagnostics? So they were doing all kinds of very cool labs, including epigenetic aging and some other things that were really interesting. And I did both of those tests. And so I got my results back just recently, and definitely could use a boost in I think it was the CD4 over the ratio is it CD4 over CD8?
Yep.
Get that right?
Yep.
And a lot of my recommendations were eat more mushrooms, right? So come to find out, well, Reggie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the upcoming research on that? And specifically, what parameters are they going to be measuring?
Yeah, absolutely. So spoiler alert, we're doing a study right now with True Diagnostic, which is funny because shout out to that company, True Diagnostic, and Ryan over there. I mean, it's an amazing company, and what they're doing and what they're measuring is absolutely outstanding. So they're measuring, the main thing was the biological age of how old is your body compared to, you may be 30 years old, but your body might be 50.
Yeah.
And so they're doing it's a blood test. You do a little prick, put it on there. You mail this test in. But True Diagnostic has really won the game when it comes to biological age testing. And so they have gotten some massive influencers. One guy, I don't know if you know this, he's a billionaire, and he's just obsessed with turning back time and getting younger and younger. Brian Johnson. He started this thing called the Rejuvenation Olympics. And so there's all these people competing to how slow can we get our aging process going, and everything that's in that Rejuvenation Olympics is built around this True Diagnostic test. So they're measuring their pre and their post, and because he believes this is the most accurate test out there, which we do too. And then they did something with the Kardashians recently. I mean, so they've kind of gone on this big level because of how amazing this test really is. You can get back all these different numbers. And so we actually we're very, very heavily based in research. So one thing that makes our company really unique to others is our ingredient that's in our bottle has actually been published in 15 different studies, which, most companies, if they're good, have one or two. But people using our ingredient, you look in the materials and methods section, you're going to see the name of our ingredient in there, 15 different. On top of that, there's 10 different comparison studies head to head of our glucan versus like 100 other glucan products in those 10 studies, measuring how much more effective is glucan, on the immune system than vitamin C or echinacea or all these other different beta glucans, which is why we can say, hey, don't take our word for it. Take this study that was published that we had nothing to do with at the University of Louisville and look at that. So all in all, there's like over 20 studies that are using our product, but we're not stopping, and we're continuing to do more and more research. And so one of the big ones that we're rolling out this year is going to be this study with True Diagnostic that is measuring the impact that our product has with people taking this, for a 90-day period, 60 people, and measuring the impact it's going to have on their biological age.
Okay.
Because as this process of immunosenescence or immune system waning, the data really shows after about 60 years old, I mean, that immune system really, really starts to go down. And just over time, it's the reason why we don't have energy like we had when we were in our 20s, that immune system function starts to deteriorate. And so it's something, especially as you get older, that we need to all be, thinking about is how our immune system is operating, because a cold can knock you out for way longer. The flu can knock you out for way longer, let alone something like, 2020 and COVID happens. It is so important for our immune systems to be ready for those things and functioning for those things. And so we're really, really excited about this, partnership with True Diagnostic to see the results of all of these things, because we're hoping, that and we're about as confident as you can be before you dive into one of these things, though, that the results will be really positive for what this does for your biological age. Of course, they're measuring a lot of immune system markers on top of that. So they actually give your immune systems an age as well, like a score. Here's how effective your immune system's doing. So we're confident we're going to really shine in that and really shine in the, immune system age part of it, which is going to be great, because then we can go shout from the, the rooftops of, here's something that's kind of like abstract. Most people don't think about their immune system, on a daily basis, or how this is wondering, but they are thinking about, longevity, or, how young they are and how their body's reacting. So really, really excited about partnering with them on this study.
Love that. Yeah, I gotta say, guys, I was a little nervous about that, because I was like, okay, if I do this test and it says I'm 100, I'm going to be so bummed, right? Which didn't happen, thankfully. Yeah. I think I came up like 5 or 6 years younger, which I'm like, okay, I'll take that. But it was admittedly a little nerve-wracking. But I definitely walked away thinking, okay, my immune system definitely could use a little bit of a bump for sure. So so excited. I'm delighted to hear about the research, and just based on everything I know, I'm confident that you guys will really shine in that as well. What I'd love to talk about next is who should be taking it. Who is this appropriate for? Because we have practitioners on the line today listening and watching. Who's a good fit? Is it post-cancer? Is it post-chemo? Is it, how do we know where to start in terms of patient types?
Yeah, great question. My answer, of course, because I sell beta glucan, is that everybody should be taking it.
Yeah, probably. I can see
but
that.
Everyone with an immune system can certainly benefit from this. And it's getting more important than ever because of the quality of our air, because of the quality of the food, because of the pollutants and everything that is just like this toxic bucket that we have is getting overloaded. And so as a result, the immune system's tired. It is tired of fighting. It is overloaded. And so anything that any of us can do to help that immune system. Now, depending on where you're at in lifestyle, I would recommend different dosages, for people of it. Certainly people that, are healthier and more active and have a strong immune system don't need to take as much as somebody like you mentioned post-cancer,
Okay.
That those people would be, or during cancer would be in a different dosage category of that. So my answer is everyone. The research, has been everything from shrimp, like, to humans has been tested on horses, everything. There's been a lot of safety studies where it's been given to animals at 1,600 times the dose with, grass rated by the FDA. So there's no known side effects or any kind of toxicity. But everything and every person with an immune system can have a benefit from the beta glucan. It really is just a matter of, how much of it are you going to take and how much that you need. The cool thing about our product with such a high purity, you look doing the research, is you can literally pick and choose how much beta glucan do I need today, because it how effective do I want my immune system to be today. You can wake up and decide I need this much. So we actually have a travel protocol. When people are traveling and their immune system's exposed to all these different things, is hey, here's the dosage we think you should be taking. The 500 milligrams, which is our highest dose, 3 days before and during travel, and 3 days after travel, right? And then you get back home in your normal environment, you can cut that back down to 100 milligrams a day, right? But during those times, or if you're going to go in for some kind of oral surgery or have a tooth extracted or something where there's a cause of infection, you can ramp that dose up during that time, because hey, I need more additional immune support during that time. And then you can kind of go back down to the 100 milligrams after that. But certainly anyone who is sick or struggling or battling with something, we're going to recommend our higher dose to them. And most of the research that is done on beta glucan is done on cancer. Literally thousands. You can go on PubMed. I keep saying that number, but go on PubMed and type in glucan and cancer, and you're going to see thousands of results there with what it's done. And honestly, Leslie, that's a lot just to do with the political game of research and the funding. Most of it's following cancer, so most of the glucan research is going to be in there. But beta glucan goes back 40 years in places like Japan and Taiwan and Korea. This is an approved drug, and they use it as an adjuvant treatment for cancer over there, beta glucan.
Really?
So
Okay.
we were talking about earlier is like, a lot of people over here have not heard of it, but over on the other side of the world, they have, because it's been used, in commonplace for 40 years over there.
Okay. Wow. So, so it's actually being used during cancer treatment, and I would
Correct.
assume after, right?
Correct.
Seeing that, like, chemotherapy really just ironically trashes your immune system, right?
That's right.
Okay. So it's being used. Oh, and I just saw that we have a comment here, and, I'm assuming that lifestyle is also part of that equation. I think we're probably referring to the biological, or, like the cellular age through the epigenetic testing, right?
Yeah. And it's also part of course, lifestyle is a huge part of how active and functioning your immune system is.
Right.
And so that, again, I would recommend back to like how much beta glucan you need or should take. Would definitely determine if you're in good health. I mean, take 100 milligrams a day of this stuff.
Okay.
If you got a great lifestyle and you're sleeping well, you're eating well, you're active, and your body's able to recover quick from if you get sick, cold, something like that, and you got a strong immune system, take 100 milligrams a day. Take 100 milligrams every other day. But if you are going to go into something like I said, a traveling where you're more susceptible, then you may want to ramp up your dosage there. But absolutely.
Okay.
Lifestyle is a huge factor in it.
So yeah, I have the 500. Okay. So the daily dose on the bottle for the 500 milligrams says 2 capsules a day. So that would be 1,000, which honestly, given, immune function is, one of the areas I guess that I need to work on.
Yeah.
According to that true diagnostic testing, I think that sounds reasonable, right? So like maybe 90 days on the 500, or actually in this case, twice a day, it would be 1,000 milligrams. Does that sound appropriate?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly what I would recommend. We'll do a live dosage conversation here. I would say, hey, take this product, take it for 3 months at the 1,000 milligram dosage, go retest on the true diagnostic, see where your stuff is at. And you'll once you get that under control, dial back and just take 100 milligrams a day.
Okay. Yeah. For maintenance. Okay. And how important is it to take this on an empty stomach?
It is. You're going to get, the best optimum immune system function if you're going to take it. We recommend like 30 minutes before you eat. So like just take it first thing in the morning, keep it by your sink.
Okay.
When you do that, it is. But certainly taking it with food is way better than not taking it at all. So if you forget, grab it. You can still take it with food. It's got a unique mechanism of action that we could talk about, but it's the way that it passes in the body. So you can take it with food. It's just going to give you a little extra bump to take it on an empty stomach.
I'd love to hear anyone in our audience, just your degree of familiarity with beta glucans, because again, I'm an RD and I really, of course I've heard of it, but I never realized how effective of a tool we have in our toolbox to help people ramp up their immune system. I really am so excited about it. And then let's see. So, hey, Barbara, I'm so happy to have you. Barbara asks, are there any contraindications specifically with medications that you're aware of?
The one contraindication I will give that we always say is if you've had some type of transplant and you're taking an immunosuppressant, this is not for you.
Okay.
That's the one no that we say, because you're taking something so that your immune system literally doesn't attack, whether it's a liver transplant or something like that. Everybody else, again, I'll say that GRAS rated by the FDA, which, generally recognized as safe. So there's no known contraindications. Okay. It's safe. We've done studies up to 1,600 times on the dose. We like to joke around here, the only way you're going to hurt somebody with this product is if you hit them with a bottle, throw it, hit them in the eye with it. Or if they're walking to the warehouse and, a pallet drops of the product, drops on them or something. That's really the only way you can hurt somebody with it. But it is safe because it's all natural. And one of the other things that we love and are passionate about is we've only got one ingredient in our capsule. It's a capsule with beta glucan in it. That's it. There's no fillers. There's no excipients. It's just, pure beta glucan in a capsule. So we're eliminating a lot of those other types of, maybe allergens or things like that. Oh, true. Yeah.
Okay. So Matt Dorner, welcome. Happy to have you here. So Matt says, I take 2 100 milligram beta glucan daily and give my kids the Immune Ready daily. That's awesome. Believe that's the powder, right?
Yeah. So probably we've got a drink, a beta glucan drink, the Immune Ready, and then we also have a kid's gummy. So we've got the beta.
Oh, okay, the gummy. All right, I wasn't even aware you had a gummy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So fabulous. One of those, Matt. Welcome, Matt. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Oh, so he says he's gummies. He's giving them the gummies, which is
all right.
Cool.
Yeah, kids love those gummies. So Matt, you sounds like you're a huge fan. Gosh, Matt, how did you find out about it? How, if I don't know if you can share a little bit. I wish I could take you off mute and just hear your story. But if you can just share a teeny bit in the comments, I'd love to just get a sense of, how you learned about this. Okay. And Matt does have a question. Aware of any vitamins and or supplements that could potentially augment either absorption or efficacy of beta glucan?
Yeah. The ones that I'm aware of that are published in the research, because we actually have a product that combines those that give a little bit of extra bump, is vitamin C, selenium, resveratrol. And
okay.
Yeah. So those are other, as long as they're high quality sources, those are some other ingredients that can take the beta glucan. The beta glucan is doing most of the work and getting that immune system up, but there are other things that you can add that are going to get initial, another 5%, another 10% bump, and aren't going to have any kind of contraindications or anything like that with the beta glucan. So if you're taking a vitamin C, vitamin D is another one. Great for the immune system, great for, strong bones and all those other things. Most of us are deficient in vitamin D, walking around, working at a desk, not getting outside enough, not seeing enough sun, or whether we live up north and, you don't see enough. Most people are vitamin D deficient. And so taking that vitamin D is going to have a lot of other, complementary benefits of the beta as well.
Yeah. What's interesting, not to overshare everyone, but pretty much a open slate here. So on my test that I did with True, I was A-okay on vitamin D, like awesome. Optimal. But guess where I was low? Vitamin C. Really low in a couple different areas. So, I love that test. It really, it gave me some things that I can specifically work on.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matt, I asked Matt, how did you find out about Better Way Health and specifically the beta glucan? And he shares Chris Beat Cancer.
Yeah. Chris Wark. Amazing story Chris has with his cancer journey, diagnosed with colon cancer at a very, very young age. I think he was 26 at the time. But Chris is, if you guys go to chrisbeatcancer.com or anybody he's got a course called Square One, where he walks you through everything from how you're supposed to eat, how you research. He's got an incredible recipe book as well on how to eat, for cancer patients. He talks about forgiveness. He talks about the mental, the emotional, all of those things. And I think you can get it's like, maybe $100, $150 or something like that for the course. It's very reasonable. And Chris has an incredible journey, and he has literally helped hundreds of thousands of people through that cancer journey. And so one of the things we were very blessed and honored that Chris recommends, he doesn't recommend very many supplements at all, but he does recommend our beta glucan. And so good. Yeah, it's Chris is a great friend of the company.
So we have a question from Barbara.
Sure.
Miss Barbara asked, how large are the tablets for those who have trouble swallowing pills? I'm going to try to show mine.
Okay.
Again, but I don't know if my camera is going to know what to focus on. But again, I don't know. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, we can kind of see the outline.
I mean, it's actually, it looks a little bigger, I think. at least on my screen, it's not a big pill. Let me just say it's just like, I look at it, it looks like a very average-ish size supplement pill. So I don't think that, I mean, obviously if someone has trouble swallowing, they're probably going to have trouble swallowing anything, but it's certainly not a big pill by any stretch of the imagination. I would even venture to say it's a little bit on the smaller side.
Yeah, and our 100 milligram is even smaller than that.
Okay, I guess. All right. Yeah.
So it's a little bit smaller. So we're very, very aware of that and sensitive to that, with people that can swallow versus can. And so we do, I mean, one of the challenges that we have on the manufacturing side is fitting 500 milligrams of beta glucan with no fillers, excipients into that small size of a capsule. That's one of the technical challenges we're always running into, because it's a big deal for people, that can't swallow or have a hard time swallowing larger capsules, which is why we're doing things now like, the drink.
The drink is good. I've tried it.
Yeah. So you can dump that into a water bottle, shake it up, mix it up, and still get your beta glucan. And
what's the dose in the drink?
100 milligrams.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you're getting 100 milligrams. That's fair. So yeah, that'd be a great option for any of your patients who do have trouble swallowing, Barbara. Is the powder version.
Yeah.
And I have tried it. And it is very tasty. And it's got a full dose, 100 milligrams in there. So so I think that could be a great solution. And then the gummies, maybe the gummies might be a little easier to swallow as well.
And they're absolutely delicious. So I've got 6 kids.
Do you really? Okay.
I do, yeah. I've got 6 kids, so we've got a lot of built-in taste testers for the gummies, and so the kids like the taste. Sounds like Matt's kids like the taste as well. Chimed in there. We worked a lot. I mean, we tested so many different different things on the gummies testing to get that proper taste that the kids would like, but also just without the junk in it. I mean, 90% of the gummies that are out there, the first ingredient is going to be sugar. And for us, that's just like not acceptable, right? So we've got the stevia in there. And we just got to get that flavor profile right where the kids would want it, but we're also not just filling them with, junk. Yeah.
All right. So Matt has 5 kids. You guys.
That's a good start, Matt.
That's all. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And Leslie, who we work with very closely, one of my friends, Dr. Z, who you met also with us at IHF. So he's got 6, and the reason he wasn't able to do today, he's baby number 7's on the way. So they're taking a baby, him and his wife Sabrina.
Oh, great! We'll have him on.
Yeah.
Well, I want to continue this conversation around immune function and where beta glucans can fit in to to really help people out. So let's plan on having him back. I think that would be really great. And okay, so Matt
wants to know any more flavors coming down the pipeline. Man, you beat me to it. Okay, yes, and yes. I just want to make the distinction before we go any further. So Better Way Health is our consumer brand, and that's our consumer line.
Okay.
That Matt's talking about, where we have a lot of different products. BWH Labs, which you have the link up for, is our practitioner exclusive.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the one on Fullscript. It's our capsules, the highest purity capsules, the beta glucan. So there's only 2 products on BWH Labs. So if you're a practitioner and you sell those, want to sell in your office or want to do it through Fullscript, BWH Labs is where you're going to want to go. That's not available anywhere else online. That is practitioner exclusive beta glucan. But as a consumer, you can go to Better Way Health, and that's where you're going to find where we're putting beta glucan into lots of different things. Okay. We started off as just capsules and just like beat our heads against the wall and just told everybody, you got to take capsules, you got to take capsules. And finally we're like, listen, we just want beta glucan in more things, more people. They need this product. They don't even know about it. And so we started, putting it into things like drinks and gummies. And yes, we have more. We've got some more flavors coming soon. Matt I'll give you a little sneak peek into stuff. Nobody else knows this, but really exciting. We've got a partnership with a huge jiu-jitsu brand. So I love jiu-jitsu. My son takes jiu-jitsu as well. And so a huge jiu-jitsu brand called Matt Made. And we are doing a flavor with them that's coconut watermelon is what it is. It's delicious. But we're calling it Tiger's Blood. I don't know if you guys ever remember that, like snow cones as, kids, that they had that coconut watermelon flavor they call Tiger's Blood. And so in that jiu-jitsu market, it'll be called Tiger's Blood drink. And that will be available 1st of May. So just a few weeks out.
Okay.
And then we're working, I don't know if this one's going to be final, but we've been testing lots of different flavors. Most likely this summer, we're going to have a cherry limeade coming out for the summer. So 2 new flavors that we're working on coming out, which we're really
that's so good. How exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. We got another question on Instagram from Miss Barbara. And she asks, what is the time needed to take beta glucan to see positive results?
Awesome question.
Can we add another little piece to that? And what are the parameters specifically that we're looking at?
Yeah. Awesome question. So we get asked this all the time is how do I know it's working? How do I know? Because you don't feel your immune system, like you would taking, let's say, a curcumin product, and all of a sudden your knees don't hurt as much or something, So the immune system is different. So this is the way that I answer the question for people is like, how do I know it's working? One is you can read through all the science that we're talking about, literally thousands of studies. This product has been studied at places like Harvard and Tulane and Louisville and the Department of Defense in Canada and all these, Mayo Clinic, Memorial Sloan Kettering, all these places have studied beta glucan for its effect on the immune system. I'm talking about just immune system in particular. So you can read through all the studies, and you can go to the scientific literature if that's your jam, and you can read and look at, okay, here's what it does. We've got a great study on CD4, CD8 and showing how it increases those specific numbers with the beta glucan. So one answer is the science. You can dig into that, and that's how you would know or trust that this thing is working. The second one, which is usually more fun for people, is we've actually got like 10,000 reviews on our website and also on Trustpilot. So Trustpilot is like the most trusted review source online. They make sure that these reviews are legitimate, not fake. But there's thousands of reviews on Trustpilot. So if you go to Trustpilot, type in Better Way Health, you can read 5,000 people's stories on their health transformations and health journeys of beta glucan. And so there's a tremendous amount of, 1 or 2 anecdotal, but when you've got 5,000, it becomes something pretty special. Overall, I think everywhere between Amazon and things, we've got over 10,000 now. So there's lots of reviews you can read from how it works with other people. And so a lot of times, if you're wondering, hey, in my certain, thing that I've got going on, is this going to be effective? You're going to be able to find somebody that's gone through the same thing in those 10,000 reviews. And then the third thing, so science reviews, the third thing is just taking an immune panel, a blood test. So a lot of people, if they're working with a practitioner or they're working, with, whether that's a functional medicine doctor or whether that's, a naturopath or some type of person that's measuring, most likely they're giving them a basic immune panel. You're measuring things like white blood cell counts. You're measuring things like natural killer cells. And so take one of those, or if you have already taken one of those, most likely if you've been working with somebody, take the beta glucan for 30 days and then take another one. And you will see an increase in all your natural killer cells and your white blood cell count, and all those things go up. And so those 3 things are really the easiest way to prove, like, here's what this product is doing: the science, the reviews, and then on your own self, just do an immune panel. And any kind of basic immune panel is going to measure those things, and you're going to see a significant increase, because the way that beta glucan works, in about 3 days, you're going to be able to see measurable results on an immune panel. And about 14 days after taking it, it's going to be distributed throughout the entire immune system. Your immune system is going to be like at its peak after about 14 days of taking the product. And then you're going to stay there for as long as you're on the product.
Fabulous. Okay, that's great. So I love how you answered that, both in terms of time allocation, but also those endpoints. Right? Very specific endpoints that are going to be improved. So love that. All right. If you have time for maybe another question or so, does that work for you?
Absolutely.
Reggie? Okay. Because we're getting a lot of questions here, which is awesome. So Barbara, let's see. Okay. When I showed the tablet or the pill, she says it looks long and slim. Is it a gel cap?
It is not a gel cap.
Okay. I think it looked a little bit out of proportion.
Yeah.
When I held it up, in all honesty, because it honestly it's just like a normal, slightly smaller
capsule.
Yeah.
Capsule. No, not a gel cap. Traditional.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the drink is great. I've tried it myself. Highly recommend. What about medications for autoimmune conditions? Good question. So, are you aware of any contraindications there?
The answer is no.
Okay.
Autoimmune is always trickier because there's so many different autoimmune conditions now.
Right.
And so it's not like a blanket. Like, I'm not a doctor. Remember, I'm an IT guy. I'm a tech guy. It's like to recommend things. But with autoimmune, there's research. There's actually an amazing study that came out just in January of this year with a yeast-based beta glucan for autoimmune conditions. And basically, they're like, hey, it's actually doing what we knew it was doing, which is modulating the immune system and helping the T cells, in a positive way, that are inflammatory markers for some of these autoimmune conditions. And so my recommendation would be on autoimmune. One is whatever doctor you're working with, talk to them, and I can post a link, to this study, and so that you guys can all see that. Show them the study. Talk to them about if they're comfortable with taking the beta glucan, and then start with a 100 milligram dose. Don't start with just the maximum dose. See how your body's going to respond to the 100, and then you can ramp up from there when you see these, how it's responding with your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I have a question that perhaps our audience is wondering, and then perhaps we should probably start wrapping up. I could talk all day about this.
Me too.
It's a fascinating topic, just the whole immune system, and just the fact that we have this tool that frankly is underutilized. So hopefully we can slowly make some changes there. But what I wanted to ask you was, so we have availability now on FullScript, which is great. Yeah. So, and we also have the option to open an account through the link that we have on the screen, which is BWHLabs.com. So is there a recommendation either way? I mean, I would think, for patients and clients, we'd probably refer them over to FullScript because that's generally where we're making our recommendations, right? We're writing protocols but what if either A, we have a brick and mortar, which not a lot of people do these days, but some do for sure, or we want to take it for ourselves. Do you, in terms of pricing, is it a little better deal to buy direct through you versus FullScript?
Yeah, we get this question all the time. So the answer is we're gonna have similar pricing to FullScript as a practitioner on BWH Labs.
Okay.
If you're gonna sell significant volume, I would go through BWH Labs.
Okay.
But it's really easy, Leslie. You nailed it. It's like, if you're already on FullScript, just go through FullScript. It's just they make it too easy for everybody. But if you are selling supplements already in your office, and you have a store and you've already got inventory and you've already got all these things that come along with those, we'd love to take care of you at BWH Labs, directly. And we can certainly do that. We'd love that. But it's really a matter of, if you're already set up there and you're going to move a lot of volume, go to BWH Labs. If you just do FullScript and don't house supplements, do FullScript.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Yeah. Okay. Barbara said she loved that study that you referred to.
Yeah. Let me.
So if we can post that for her, that would be really interesting. Or if we can, direct her. Now, I think you've got a lot of data on the website, if I'm correct, right?
We do. One of the best places that we refer to people a lot to is betaglucan.com. So
Okay.
singular, BETA, GLUCAN, betaglucan.com. There's an AI on there that's got like everything that's in this book, which by the way, this book here by Dr. Václav Vedvico. He's the leading researcher in the world on beta glucan out of the University of Louisville. He himself has over 200 published studies on this. So if any of you guys want to read this book, go to bwhlabs.com/book, and I'll send you a free copy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'll send you a free physical copy of the book.
Okay, you guys. Okay, so let me put that up. Go ahead.
This book is really the kind of the Bible of, beta glucan. He dives into everything in here. He's got and he breaks it all into chapters, which is nice. So you don't have to read, the entire book. You can just kind of jump to the chapters that are interesting. But I mean, he's got chapters on the different types of beta glucan, which we discussed a little bit. He's got chapters on how beta glucan can act as a prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic, and how that works. He's got a whole chapter on the mechanism of action where he dives into the details of exactly what it's doing in the body. He's got a chapter on beta glucan and cancer, on beta glucan and infections, on beta glucan and how it acts inside of the GI tract, beta glucan and bone marrow, beta glucan and allergies, beta glucan and arthritis, beta glucan and blood sugar, cholesterol. So all of these things are different chapters in this book, written by a completely disinterested third party. But our ingredient is mentioned like 13 times in the book because this is the guy that did all the comparison studies, lining up side by side to say which one of these is the best beta glucan. And spoiler alert, our product beat every product in every assay that he ran. And so this is really the source of information for beta glucan that I would recommend. So I'm happy to send any of you guys that want to go to BWH Labs and get that free book. So check that out. And then let me see if I can join the chat here.
Okay.
And post this link. Okay. I got to connect my YouTube account to join the live chat. Okay.
It's going to let you do it.
Let's see. We'll see. I'll brush off my IT skills, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that, just to reiterate, if you want to get your hands on that book, that sounds like it's absolutely full of information. And honestly, I'm hearing a lot more uses for beta glucan, like gut health and okay. So here is that a clickable link?
And it didn't post right. Man, okay. I'm embarrassing myself in front of you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
Can you private chat me?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
Private chat me, and then I can copy and paste, perhaps. So this is the study on autoimmune, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see private chat.
That one, let me give you the link for it. That's the name of the study that I just sent you. And then let me see if there we go. Did that go to you?
Yes, it did. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste this guy. Guys, I'll put this in the public chat or the comments.
Yeah.
So you can access that data if you're so inclined.
Bingo.
Okay. Cool. All right. So guys, that is right there for you. That's what it looks like. It's in the chat. So you can, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I think that worked. Yay. All right. I'm excited, and I just want to say hello to Meg. So when I see Meg Moretta's name, I always think of like blood sugar preventing diabetes. So Meg, you might be interested in getting your hands on this book as well. Mm-hmm. And again, that link, oh yeah, I've got still up on the screen. BWHLabs.com/book. Yeah. And you can get your hands on that book. Thank you so very much for your willingness to send that out to our audience today. And gosh, Reggie, I really hope that we can continue this conversation. Clearly, we struck a chord here.
Yeah.
So very fascinating.
We got so much more to talk about. So let's do a part
Okay.
two.
All right. So guys, to be continued, right? Yeah. This was great. A really great start. I'm super excited. We did get a question that I forgot to answer from Matt. Any issues with opening up the capsule and placing it in applesauce or food?
Do it.
That's a great solution. So Barbara, if you're worried about, swallowing, that could be a great option as well. Didn't even think of that.
Absolutely do it. Yeah. And before we had drinks and gummies and all this other stuff, that was our only solution. As we would tell people they couldn't chew, swallow capsules, it was like, hey, just, put it in your smoothie, open it up, put it in your applesauce, put it in peanut butter, whatever. It's not the best, flavor if you just mix it in water.
Yeah.
But absolutely great idea, Matt.
Okay. Great. All right, guys. So, my recommendation is to head on over to FullScript, get this on your immune protocol.
Yes.
For your patients, for your clients. I mean, the safety is amazing, right? Not really hearing any major things that we need to be aware of in terms of contraindications. So I would, if I was still seeing patients, I would get that added to my immune protocol. And okay. And Matt says, enjoyed the conversation. All right, guys. So we're going to continue this conversation. It's fascinating. And I want to thank Reggie for your, hopping on this live today, sharing your wisdom, and to be continued. Let's leave it at that, right? Okay, guys. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks for all of your wonderful comments and questions. It really makes these sessions just so much fun. So thank you for that. I hope you got a lot of value. I know I certainly did. And let's support Reggie in his quest to get the word out. I mean, we've got this amazing tool. I would just say, let's start using it. I know I am. I'll speak for myself. I know this is becoming my go-to to help my immune system. So anyway, talk to you all soon. See you next week. I hope you have a great rest of the week and a wonderful weekend. See you next time. Bye for now.